What's going on, guys? Bladezilla here, and today we're taking a look at this beautiful knife from Holt. This is going to be a Morpheus inside here, so we're going to open that up, take a look at it in a pretty casual conversation, but first and foremost, how sick is this knife case? Pretty cool, eh? So, love that. As a reminder, before we get started on this casual conversation, check out bladezilla.ca. That's my site. There we go, bladezilla.ca. Just added some stitches. Got a bunch of 111s and some Yan chevrons, etc. Tons of Microtechs, tons of Shirogorofs, lots of good stuff. That is bladezilla.ca. So let's open this guy up and see what's inside and start the discussion there. Love how these guys come. Super casual. There's actually a thank you letter, which I won't open or anything, but pretty cool. It's also real. It just reminds me of like a super nicely cleaned car interior. I don't know why. The knife itself, there we have it. How sick is that? Wow. So this is my first time actually seeing a Holt Morpheus in the flesh. I've had a couple haptics come through, and they've been fantastic, but this guy, I've always wanted to see a Morpheus. So pretty sweet. So they call it a burnished ridgeback. Which is pretty sick, which to me is kind of just a really, really nicely machined purple, or blurple. That's kind of what I'm getting. This is from their refined grade. So it looks really cool. And I don't know if they still do this, but they used to come with a little COA card that you could actually scan with an RF reader. And it would pull up like all the details on that specific knife online. I'm assuming that's what's in the envelope, but pretty cool. So let's crack this guy. Ooh, that's a beautiful action too. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. That's a beautiful knife. And I even think I see a bit of a mirrored edge on that. I don't know if the camera's going to freak out and panic, but I think we've got a mirrored edge on there. Wow, fantastic. So beautiful knife. Like I said, this is going to be more of a casual conversation. I just wanted to show this knife just because I haven't actually had one in my hands before putting it up in the store. And more than anything, I wanted to take a look at it. I just finished taking some photographs, obviously. And yeah, what a gorgeous first example of a Morpheus. I love looking at things like the clip on these knives, and you can see all that milling that's taken place on there. With that, I think they call it 25 volt ano. Beautiful. It is an inset, I believe, liner. So let's take a look inside here. That action is beautiful. Tons of machining and milling on the inside. I'm just trying to find my little light as I scurry here. Just shine inside here. There we go. See if we can pick up. Oh yeah, lots of little, actually lots of big pockets of millwork, etc. That's a beautiful knife. At a price point that you don't normally see this kind of stuff, it's well done. Honestly, it's a very well done. I'd put it in the same conversation as kind of like a Koenig. Fit and finish might be a little teensy bit higher, in my opinion, which is saying something because I think Koenig is kind of the gold standard on mid-tech. But just a different vibe. A lot more milling on this, obviously. The hardware is nicely anodized as well to match that pivot, which looks cool. It's kind of like a big gear. It looks so sick. It pops up as well. I don't know if you can see that, but it is raised. And then on the other side, we've got like T25s, some T8s probably. Once again, it's all very well done and matched very nicely. It's got a little bit of a baby backspacer. Kind of wondering why it's so small. That's what she said. But, you know, once again, matched nicely. Nice sharp edges on the ano. Looks real nice. Centering, absolutely. Dead center, as you'd expect. Lots of room in there, too. Yeah, nice. Real nice. So let's see what this looks like measurement-wise. We'll get a weight on it as well. And we'll zoom the camera in. We're a bit zoomed out, but we'll kind of start there, do our normal little routine, and kind of see what we can come up with. I thought it was around 3 1/4 inches. It looks kind of like that. Blade length, yeah, to the center of the trail, 3 1/4. My memory serves correct. Handle of about 4 1/4, maybe 4 1/8. And an OAL, overall length, of 7 3/8, roughly. Somewhere in that. It might be 7 1/2. You know what? Probably 7 1/2. So, good size. How it compares, well, let's see if I can grab some from the side collection here. A large Sabenza, just to give scale as well. So, smaller than a large, but remember if I put it up here, it's going to change the perspective substantially, right? And if I grab a small Sabenza, which I thought I had one beside me, which I do, put that down at the bottom here to show scale. So it's, it looks on the image there like it's not much bigger, but let's do this. Let's see. So it's quite a bit bigger than the small Sabenza. In almost every way. Just the handle's bigger, the blade's longer, the blade height is quite a bit taller. If I'm comparing it to something, I'd kind of put it in the mid-sized Shiro conversation, like a Kami. Very similar. Even the Kami's a little bit bigger, but very similar nonetheless. Like that's about as close as to what I have size-wise. The Stellar might be a bit different as well. It's a different kind of knife. Like I could show. I know I've got a lot of Shirogoro following on this channel, but like if I grab that E-Knives Quantum, because the Monkey Edge is in a bag right now, like that is quite a bit bigger of a knife. If we compare, and remember, the angle of the dangle here. It's more in line with like a Neon, I'd say, but the Neon is even smaller, like quite a bit in the width of the whole design. Like it's a much flatter design. And how can I show that the best? I'll show you the width of this. That should show you all you need to see. Quite a bit chunkier, right? But handle-wise, they're two different knives. Like to me, the Neon is actually a longer knife, but it feels smaller in hand. Similar size, that's probably about as close as I'm going to get, quite honestly. Super cool knife. My first taste of a Holt in quite a while, actually, which is crazy. And I think these are now Magna Cut, and action is just almost drop shut. It actually kind of reminds me of like the delicateness of a Herman almost. It sounds ridiculous. This particular one feels like the lightness on the blade is almost like a Herman. And I think they usually write on the inside here the details on the knife. So let's see if that pops right out. Can we see anything? Holt Bladeworks Morpheus 1567, is that what it is? 1567, that's a cool number. Nice little detail. And that's, you know what, they're numbered. There's a lot of these out there now, obviously 1500 plus. And they just keep getting better and keep adjusting it and keep tuning them. And they've become a real nice knife company to deal with. Loyal following, made in the States, and now we're doing Magna Cut, which is awesome. I'm told, I've got a spec sheet here, it says 3.7 ounces. I was going to guess it was a bit lighter than that, so I'll throw it on the scale just to kind of see what we're coming up with, but it certainly feels light. I was going to guess 3.5 ounces, which is a little more than the ounce to inches ratio. 3.7 to the T, 3.8. So pretty accurate. My scale's probably not the accurate thing here. It's probably the knife. But a beautiful example of just a very nice knife. And the clip to me is what does it. Like, obviously the milling's super sick, and I kind of get the Shirogoro Bio vibes big time on that kind of the execution and how they swirl it, and it almost rounds the handle, right? You kind of have a scale line that goes down the top. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but you have to look at it down the scale to see it. And you can see kind of an angle here, and then it rounds off, and then actually angles again down here. I don't know if I can show that. It's tough to kind of show. This one should pop out as I roll the knife, because it does actually show. But there is another one down here. So it fits the hand quite nicely. I'm trying to show it again on this. See what I'm saying? That there, you can see it right there on the camera, that line. But it integrates so nicely into the machining. It's kind of tough to pick up. So to me it feels very 3D in hand. So I'm an extra large glove, and it fits me nicely, with no room to spare, I'd say. Maybe half finger, but very nice, something that can be dressed up, dressed down, used, abused, but also very classy and very nicely finished. Like, to me, this is a pocket knife you could show someone who's not into pocket knives and say, here's why, this knife is, I don't know what it's priced at, but I think they're around $1,000 US table, somewhere in that range. So, a knife like this, in this level, right, in this fit and finish, in this materials, I think they're around 1,000, maybe 1,100 US. It's immediate why you can understand why it's worth that price point. Compared to like a Chris Reeves, great, you can get a $1,000 Chris Reeves as well. But the fit and finish on a Holt is, in my opinion, much higher. Way less of them as well, and much more unique. So really cool to kind of see one of these in the flesh. And it's not normal. It's truly not normal where I'll be literally taking pictures of a knife and just go, hey, you know what? Let's throw the mic on and we'll try to do a quick for me video on a knife. It's pretty rare. I usually try to plan it out. But this time around, you know what? We'll just have a quick conversation on it, because it'll accompany some of the images online as well, so you can kind of get a good flavor of it, and whoever does want to pick it up, we'll have a cool video to accompany it, which is pretty sweet, really sweet. And I don't know how long they've been doing MagnaCut either. It's been around for what, a year and a half, 2 years now, I guess. So, but I always thought Holt was doing like M390s. Like, I always thought they were 20 CV. Like, I didn't know they were doing. In the back of my head, I thought they were doing M398 as well, which would be cool. But I'm sure, just like most US manufactured knives, I'm sure they've gone through the ringer and kind of done a little bit of everything. And no, MagnaCut right now in 2024 is certainly the super steel of choice. That jimping's nice too. And you've got some machining behind the flipper tab, which is almost become a norm on a lot of knives, because you need to have that. Drop shutty, not as floaty as a Shirogorov, more drop shutty. It almost feels like Grimsmo-y. Not quite as drop shut as a Grimsmo. Like, if I grab my Rask here, my old Rask, this one will literally fall shut, right? Doesn't float. So, and I've had this Rask forever now, geez. I think they've actually made a new version of it since I've had that one. Probably, you know what, a Rask is probably a fair comparison of the two, but the Rask is such a much thicker, longer knife. Like, the Morpheus is more stubby, I'd say, in the handle than the Rask. But both very similar manufacturer level, quality-wise. Good milling, good machine work, good choice of parts and whatnot. Just different, right? Very different. This Rask, for anyone who's wondering, RWL 341557. Actually, our serials are very close. 1557 and 1567. Isn't that funny? Very close. I love looking down here, like just the centering, the detail work. It just looks so nice. Hopefully I can show this knife at every angle. It would be cool to have MagnaCut. I don't know if it's written somewhere on there. Sometimes I don't see it. Rolling the knife around. I don't see MagnaCut written anywhere. I'm probably missing it somewhere, but it would have been cool to have that written there, or I always like it kind of in here. Personally, just inside there, or underneath would be cool, but I'm sure it's written somewhere. I'm sure some loyal Holt enthusiast will say, hey, why don't you look here? And I'll say, yeah, you're right. So anyway, wanted to do a quick video on the Morpheus. First flavor of it for me. I'm going to throw this one in the store with its full kit. Brand new, 1567 with I think it's an unopened COA. This is how they come. So 1567, so there'll be a little card inside for an RFID tag, and then it's there you go, sealed. So pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if I want to do this much. I think I was planning to do a 5 to 8 minute video, and here we are. I've rambled for probably 15 minutes, which is kind of bordering in on my normal length videos where I chat. I was just looking for something to accompany this in the store, but sorry about that. That's me. Probably have ADHD, not sure. Undiagnosed, obviously. One of the symptoms is having too many knives. So there you go. Could be true. Alright, that is the Holt Morpheus. Appreciate you guys stopping by and taking a look. Otherwise, have a fantastic week, and we'll talk soon. Visit the store, by the way, bladezilla.ca, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Alright, peace.